England and France literally had 100-year war. But at the time, I'm sure if you were living in that circumstance, you were probably thinking, oh my God, war will never end. What the fuck? I hate those French fucking pieces of shit, right? And the French were like, I hate those British fucking inbred pieces of shit. Turns out you can actually coexist pretty easily because it is not in our nature to constantly fucking kill one another. It's actually in our nature to collaborate with one another and live at peace with one another. Governments, on the other hand, have different opinions, and they will do everything they can to propagandize a position and to ensure that you also feel unsafe. We got to do something about Iran. We got to do something about this. We got to do something about that. We got to fuck shit up. Why? The fuck have they done to you? You know? They haven't done shit. They just want to live. Leave them alone.
Yeah, I just wonder if it ever stops.
I mean, it does. I just showed you an example, right? Europe is now.
Yeah, but there's also tons of other fucking issues there, no?
I mean, not
It's
necessarily.
just a different.
What do you mean?
Issues just change. They just change. Like it's.
I
like
mean, there's a wide difference between like people literally fucking slaughtering, raping, and pillaging one another versus like, I don't know, issues that pertain to bureaucracy. You know, what ply toilet paper you can sell in your grocery stores is
That's not what I
ultimately
mean in a sense.
inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, right?
Yeah, I get it. Obviously, there's definitely a tier as far as like what's worse or what's
I
better.
think
But I'm
would
still
be
talking
far more
about
favorable.
I'm still just talking about just the overarching idea of like it's just like there's not this like unison of people ever when it comes to government and like the control of it. It's just like me more than you, and it has to be that way. And then another party or another leader's in whatever it is based on its system, and then it's still just me more than you. And it's like they use all the other things as like things to get everyone else pissed off about, whether it's like the LGBTQ stuff or it's like COVID or some people just disagree on that, hate each other for that, hate someone for this.
Yeah, but
and
that's
it's just
directed. So it's called wedge issues, a concept that the Republican Party implemented by Newt Gingrich famously, where they looked at the situation. They were like, damn, these fucking Democrats are agreeing with us on all this economic stuff. We can't actually polarize the parties. We can't look like we're any different. How the fuck are we going to win an election? So they were like, ooh, I got an idea. Let's go talk about gay people and how they shouldn't exist. So then you write legislation around it. Then you propagandize against it. You're like, oh man, these gay people, they're such fucking perverts, huh? Isn't that crazy? And back in the day, that was what they were saying about gay people instead of trans people. Now they're saying it about trans people. Back then, they used to say it about gay people, right? They were like, oh, what is this fucking man marrying man shit?
Wait, you're saying that Republicans started that?
Yeah, the entire wedge issues are oftentimes created by the Republican Party. Newt Gingrich is like very famously.
I've seen I've seen video of Obama talking about how marriage should be between a man and a woman and nothing else, and I've seen Biden say the same thing.
Because Democrats are fucking pussies. You're right. That's my point. Democrats will literally straightforwardly look you dead in the fucking eye and be like, well, a lot of people are homophobic, so I'm gonna be homophobic too. And then they'll turn around and pass it, you know, later down the line when it's more fashionable to do so. But up until that very moment, they won't stop themselves from being homophobic too. That's just how it is. Yeah, they're fucking charlatans. I mean, look at the situation with the border. They literally were like, it is so stupid and racist to build a wall. Now they're like, we want to build the wall, actually.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? They don't give a fuck. They think that this will win them votes. That's all they care about. The problem is, it's actually not politically smart for them to do this. But they're too terrified of the Republican Party, so they just never make the right decisions and fight against the Republican Party in an honest way and make a convincing argument why the border situation is not the way that the Republicans present it, which leads me to my biggest fear with the Republican Party. What I mean by that is the Trump's border bill or Trump's border suggestions. His border legislation is terrifying, like actually fucking terrifying.
Where are you seeing this?
He said that he wants to deport 20 million people that he says live on U.S. soil as undocumented migrants, right? Now, that number is contested. According to federal agencies, they believe the number is around this is devastating for the economy, but more importantly, it's devastating for the normal human beings that live, right? 1 in 15 families in the United States of America live in a mixed status household. That means 1 in 15 people live with someone who is undocumented. Donald Trump wants to deport every single one. The overwhelming majority, if not the entirety of undocumented migrants, are not fucking criminals at all. They're just regular ass like abuelas and shit that have been living here for 8 to 10 years, that have just been working, that maybe even started a business, right? And now they're just gonna get forcibly removed. They have children, they have family members, they have integrated into American society, they're paying taxes, and now you're just gonna come in and instead of giving them a pathway to citizenship, you're just gonna fucking rip them away from their families and then deport them to God knows where. You're gonna put them in detention facilities and then inevitably detain them and then deport them. I think that that's really, really terrifying.
So, I'm assuming this is the people in the last, 4 years that have just flooded in? Is what he's focused on, or is he's focused on?
No, the 20 million number is like total number of undocumented migrants, not in the last 4 years. These are people that have been living here. Some of them have been living for 20 fucking years, 30 fucking years. Like these are people whose sons, ironically, and daughters, in some instances, went out and voted for Donald Trump. And I saw it. Like people would get interviewed on the line. They'd be like, okay, where are you from? And they'd be like, oh, my dad is undocumented. Who are you voting for? Donald Trump. They'd be like, okay, they're going to deport your dad. They'd be like, nah, my dad is one of the good ones. They're gonna deport the criminal undocumented. It's like, no, dumbass, they're gonna deport your dad too.
I want to see how this actually shakes out, because I was under the impression that it's the people within the last 4 years, because it's been like millions and millions that add up to, I think, well over, I don't know, maybe add up to.
No, we did not get 20 million new undocumented migrants in the last 4 years. That's insane. That's to the total number of undocumented citizens living on U.S. soil right now is not even 20 million. I think it's like 15 million. No. I assume Trump is using border apprehension numbers, like people who are crossing the border. A lot of those people might even be going back and forth between the border illegally, or people that want to come to the United States or have their process denied. Like he's using border apprehension numbers to suggest that there's a lot more undocumented migrants living here than it actually is. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Even if it was fucking 20 million, it's not like they haven't done anything wrong. You know what I mean? They haven't fucked it up. They're not doing shit.
So then now this leads to the conversation about like, what about all the people who have done it the legal way, like taking the process to go through?
Yeah, that's a great question.
People. Because where it's, I get it. Like I hear what you're saying. But
I understand that. That's a very common thing that people say. Okay, I think that process should also be used as well dramatically. Because here's the thing: these people are coming into the United States of America not just on nefarious charges. They're coming to the United States of America illegally because the legal means are shut off. Right? If you were to, let's say, procure certain kinds of medicine to a legal avenue, like if you go to a doctor and doctor prescribe you PRP, you do that, right? And I have to go through illicit means. That is why I'm in favor of legalization. And it's the same principle for migrants coming in. If there is no negative consequence to migrants coming in, or maybe even leaving the country whenever they see fit, because they have the proper processing, the proper paperwork, then why should we fucking deport them? They're not doing anything. And as a matter of fact, not only are they not doing anything negative, they actually have a tremendous amount of benefits for the American economy. They're paying taxes, they're getting taken out, they're getting taken out on social safety nets, they are contributing to the American culture. They're here, they're just working. That's all they're doing. Sometimes they're working in horrifying conditions for pennies on the dollar, like the United Fruit workers that are the backbone of the agricultural industry. Undocumented migrants comprise like the overwhelming majority of people who pick our fruits, people who pick our crops in general. They play a massive role in the construction industry. I say we process these guys. I say we allow them to be American citizens. They're already contributing to the American economy in incredibly meaningful ways. I think it's the most humane approach. Now, if I were to...
Where's that at?
He said every single undocumented migrant is getting deported. There's 20 million of them, and we're going to start day one. J.D. Vance has elaborated further on this process where he said, yeah, we're going to first start with like people that we consider to be high-profile criminals, but that obviously already happened. If someone's an undocumented migrant on U.S. soil and they commit a crime, they're going to either jail or they're getting deported. Usually they're going to fucking jail. They're not even getting deported. They're just slamming your ass in prison. They're not letting people go when they're undocumented migrants that are doing crimes. So,
I mean, it depends if you're in California.
So when that's not California has some of the worst prison systems. It's so bad that I believe 2011 Supreme Court was like you have to lower the number of fucking prisoners in your prison system because you simply do not have enough space. California also literally utilizes slavery as a form of punishment, where we make our prisoners fight wildfires. We pay them nothing. We actually make them pay for their own room and board in the process of fighting wildfires. And then when they get out of prison, these are non-violent offenders, by the way, with a low propensity to reoffend. When we release them from prison after they've done their time, we don't even hire them to work in the fucking fire department. It's a really fucked up process, if you ask me.
They put them on a Netflix special. Get on Netflix.
Okay, but that doesn't mean shit. You know, one guy got a Netflix special, but like it's still fucked up for everyone else.
A whole bunch of them did.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh man. God damn.
So, you know, that's another part of the problem. But yes, Trump has said he is going to deport every single person. J.D. Vance says he's going to go after criminals first, and then nonviolent offenders, and then or not even offenders at all. He's just all of them eventually. Now, the process to do that is going to require a tremendous amount of money, right? But now that we've established that these guys aren't like doing crimes, there's evidence. There's plenty of evidence. They track this sort of shit. Undocumented migrants are responsible for less crime per capita than natural-born U.S. citizens are, just for the record. Much lower rates of crime in general. Not only that, but Donald Trump falsely lies all the time at his rallies and says they're killing hundreds of thousands of Americans a year. That's also fucking straightforward bullshit. The number of homicides and manslaughter that undocumented migrants have committed in the fiscal year of 2024 is, I believe, 29. Not 100,000, 29. Not 2,900, 29. Okay, so why is he fucking lying on undocumented migrants like this?
Where does this data get put together?
Department of Homeland Security and Customs and Border Patrol apprehension statistics. So it's not like fucking woke shit, right? It's like this is, you know, it's not the Department of the Homosexual Studies. It's the Department of Homeland Security. So that's where it's coming from. But so why is he lying about it? Right? Why the fuck does he lie about this shit? Well, it's because it's really good to have an enemy to unite against, an enemy to dehumanize and say is barbaric. They're doing rapes. They're doing murders all the time. They're killing Americans. So now when you're angry, you have someone to target your anger towards. And these people, when they're defenseless, as undocumented migrants are, because there's very little legal avenues of recourse for them, it makes for a perfect villain, right? Because they're weak overall. There's no one defending them. So they have no way of being like, what the fuck do you mean? I'm undocumented. I'm a normal guy. Because if you fucking speak out, then they're going to be like, okay, now you're apprehended, bitch. Now you're going to Cancun or wherever the fuck we see fit. The other
do you think there shouldn't be a wall?
I think the wall is a stupid way to try and combat like drug trafficking or anything really. It's ineffective. It doesn't work. It's just a waste of money. It's just a symbolic gesture. It's red meat for a lot of people who are like, but walls happen. They are around my house, right? Like it doesn't fucking work like that. Especially at a time when 52% of undocumented migrants that are coming into the United States are actually visa overstayers. So that means they got a visa. They came into the United States, like Elon Musk, actually, who is a fucking illegal immigrant, by the way. They came into the United States and then they overstayed their visa. So that doesn't shut that off either. And beyond that point, border crossings are going to happen regardless of whether there's a wall there or not. And the wall is not really stopping anything. And on top of that, people already have to get to U.S. soil to seek asylum, which is a legal process. We call them illegal, but they're technically legal. It is our humanitarian obligation to process them.
So you would have a U.S. with no border?
No, I don't think that there should be no border whatsoever. I think we should know who's coming in and out in the same way that we figure out who's coming in and out by way of airports and shit, right? I ultimately believe that the process should be fair and the process should be easy. And then if you're like, I don't know, like a criminal mass rapist or something, and you want to come over, we're gonna be like, oh no, we just
the thing, right? Is it fair if the people who have tried to do it legally are not? They're just getting overshadowed by people just fucking walking right in.
Well, I'll tell you this much, right? I'll tell you this much. I'm from a family of immigrants. I myself, I'm an anchor baby. My parents are Turkish.
A middle class family thing right now?
No. I'm just telling you my situation. My family gave birth to me here on U.S. Soil, so I could have an American citizenship, but they weren't American citizens at the time. My mom has one now, but basically, for them, they went through the legal route. And I technically went through the legal route. You don't see me fucking complaining. You don't see them ever complaining either. Most people that come in here legally understand how fucking long that process takes. So they have a lot of sympathy for undocumented migrants who are escaping treacherous conditions back home that simply want a better life for themselves, as do we all. So I've never heard from like people who, I don't know, go through the fucking legal route and be like, why don't you take 10 years out of your life to fucking do it the legal way, you son of a bitch? It's kind of like, imagine if there was like a medication for cancer, right? And then you got an alliance of like former cancer survivors that got together and were like, unfair, you can't take this cancer medication. We had to go through chemotherapy. That's what it would be like. It's just pure selfishness if they were to even advocate for that sort of thing.
Wait.
I'm saying that people who went through the process legally are oftentimes infinitely more sympathetic to the people that cross the border illegally. And the reason for that is because they understand how long it takes. So the goal is to streamline this process and make it more humane. You would not go through the border illegally. You wouldn't fucking give your life savings to some dude that works with the cartel that's like trafficking humans over the fucking border. If you had a safe route, if you had a safe and legal way to get into the country. So the border restrictions that America has implemented in terms of like not processing people, not allowing them to come through legal measures, not allowing immigration from places like Mexico, Guatemala, and the like, is actually helping the cartel. It's very beneficial for the cartel. This is before we and also the unrestricted flow of weapons that we offer to the cartel in exchange for black market drugs that they ship into the United States, which leads me to my next point. Donald Trump says undocumented migrants are trafficking fentanyl, right? You've heard him say this. They're sending drugs into the country. That's what he says, right? These immigrants.
I've heard it.
Yeah, so that's also a falsehood.
You're telling me that drugs aren't coming over?
No, drugs are coming over the border. They're coming over, according to the Department of Homeland Security's own data. Drugs are apprehended at the border at regular points of entry. They're not actually apprehended at irregular border crossings, but regular points of entry. As in, people in cars that chop up the cars and load it with chemical compounds that are necessary for fentanyl production, or they're directly shipped from China in containers. They're not actually coming over the border in the fucking lap of law-abiding abuela. They're actually being trafficked through vehicles.
Being trafficked, do you think it could be a lot that's coming through the border?
What do you mean? No, 90% of it is coming through 90% of it is coming through regular points of entry, through the border, through borders and through the borders.
Okay,
yeah. Hold on, but I got one more data point for you, and this might actually blow your fucking mind. Are you ready for this?
Okay. I'm ready.
If I were to ask you what percentage of the people that are trafficking drugs are undocumented migrants, what would you say?
What percentage of people who are trafficking drugs are undocumented migrants? Oh, just based on the way you asked that question, I'm assuming it's less than fucking 50%.
Tell me what your actual answer is.
Based on your
Eight
8%. Well, how was I right?
No, you're right. It is. It is literally fucking 8%. 8% is undocumented migrants. It's 8 to 10%. So
okay.
90%, 90+% of the drugs that are coming over the border are actually being trafficked by American citizens.
This is not going to age well for me because of the drug dealer jokes and the fact that I knew exactly the number of smuggled drugs. It's just not ending well for me, this conversation. But of course I know that. Anyways, it's chats. I'm looking.
That is awfully suspicious that you fucking nailed that statistic. That was weird.
Holy shit. Okay. Anyway, so listen. Okay, you said a lot of stuff, and it was beautiful. Well, eloquent, very eloquent. So, wouldn't we not have any of those issues if we just had an actual border? And then
no, we do have an actual border. I'm saying that like they're coming through regular points of entry.
Yeah, but let's just say a border where you can just walk through. You can just literally just walk through, like straight through.
No, there's no. My point is not that like people could just cross this fucking boundary willy-nilly like cattle. I'm not talking about that at all. I'm saying that people, if given the opportunity, would go through that process. If it was as simple as just like showing up and getting an appointment and then walking through the border where you do get checked, right?
So there we go. Point. We need a real border, and then we need a legitimate place where they pull up and they go, or 2 or 10 or 100 places where they go.
Yeah, even if there wasn't a wall, people would still go through the regular route, is what I'm trying to say. Because the wall doesn't.
That's not true though.
No, because the wall doesn't stop people from going through anyway. People still fucking find a way to penetrate the wall. It doesn't even stop them. So that's my point. But if you gave a legal means, why the fuck would anybody be like, nah, dog, I'm gonna actually literally go through the. I'm gonna fucking sneak in because I instead of just like going through the regular route. You know what I mean?
Because drugs.
Yeah, that doesn't stop. No, but that doesn't stop drug apprehensions either. Because there's already constant fucking surveillance on the border. That's my point. I don't have an issue with constant surveillance on the border for drug apprehension, but like that already exists. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there's still places on the border where people just drive through, like straight up walk through.
Yeah, no, happening. I know. And then there's also places where the wall exists, but then people still fucking find a way to poke through it. But my point is, people would not cross through if the wall was just not existent, right? But there were points of entry that you had to go to. Like, even if there was no wall whatsoever, people would literally go to that point of entry to be like, okay, I'm here. I just want to walk into the United States of America legally. That's my point. Here's the deal, right? You go to your friend's house. If the door is open and your friend has invited you, you're not going to fucking climb through the window. You're going to go through the door, right?
Unless I brought some drugs around the back and I wasn't trying to get caught by his mom. And I was like, yo, bro, like, come over here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, fair.
Yo, see what I got here. That's the point.
But we already established that the easiest way to traffic drugs is through through American citizens crossing the border in vehicles through regular points of entry. So they're not doing that right now, wall or not. I mean, I'm sure there's other methods. Like I think they do slingshotting, they do tunnels and stuff too. But like beyond that,
wait, what's slingshotting?
Like people just fucking slingshot drugs over the border or drop it with drones and shit.
No, you're saying they're like this?
No, like I mean, I don't know what the fuck they use, like a trebuchet or something, but they have drones. They drop it with drones and shit. You're the drug dealer. You should know this better than me, bro. I don't fucking know how they do it.
I'm trying to figure out what you guys know about the business, you know?
Yeah, you're testing my acumen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other aspect of drugs also is that like the measures to combat overdoses is actually another thing that the Biden administration actually successfully implemented, which was, like safe needle transfers, things of that nature, like looking at addiction, not as a criminal punishment, but instead as like an illness, like an addiction treatment. A focus is much better as well. So like if you want to mitigate, if you want to do harm mitigation, harm reduction, like There are things that we could do. We don't really implement it that well. The Biden administration did a decent job at it. They actually lowered the overdose numbers for the first time in U.S. history in the past couple of decades. So they didn't really promote it that much because they're fucking stupid, but that is something that they did. So drugs being trafficked over the border are not the end all be all. If you want to fucking like actually target how that problem starts to begin with, you got to combat the pharmaceutical industry, like the Sackler family that played a significant
Lots of
role.
money.
Yeah, played a significant role in like getting people addicted on fucking opioids to begin with.
Yeah, that shit's nuts, man. But
Yeah.
that's why RFK. That's why RFK. Look at that. That's your guy.
Yeah, I don't know what he's gonna do about the fucking Sacklers, but let me tell you, I'd be way more receptive to his commentary if that is actually something that he targeted, but he has not. I've heard a lot more from vaccine creators or vaccines in general, and not a whole deal about fucking opioids. The Sackler family and making sure they rot in fucking prison. I'm sure that would be a pretty solid campaign message if he genuinely was interested in doing that.
Yo, change the topic a little bit. Were you view botting yesterday? Because your views were sick.
I don't know if you know this, but we had an election. We had an election yesterday, Bradley. I don't know if you know that. It was kind of like my Super Bowl.
Nah, I get it. That was dope, though. I was like, holy shit.
I mean, I had 100K today too, and then I got fucking clapped. My stream effed. My stream went down, and then I had to restart it. So now we're sitting at fucking 45.
Damn, that's crazy. Because I tuned in. I was watching you, because I was streaming watching this shit. Obviously, election night. And I was like, nah, this motherfucker's botting straight up.
No. Yeah. I don't think you can bot on Twitch.
I have no idea.
I don't think Twitch is. I mean, they do bot, like they do fucking like those random like Elon Musk is selling crypto type shit all the time, but like it would show if I was botting.
Because they show they do this thing, right? Like you put like a caption around it.
I don't know how they do it. I'm not entirely familiar. I'm too much of a fucking boomer to know what that looks like. But Twitch already has like bot protection. They have a lot of safeguards around that sort of thing. And beyond that, like they shut down those accounts real quick. Like there's accounts sometimes that'll have like, it'll be like Elon Musk is selling crypto and it has like 45,000 live concurrent viewers. And you're like, what the fuck is this shit? And it's like very obvious. Or they'll post like, they'll do like restreams of iShow Speed. Yeah.
Yeah, but if shit gets better in the next like 2 years, are you gonna tell the truth, or are you gonna try to just continue to cuck for the Democratic side?
I will absolutely tell the truth, 100%. But I don't foresee shit getting better at all.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope it gets better. I believe so. I want to believe. So.
I just know what happened last time Donald Trump was president. Shit did not get better.
But there's no wars. That was dope.
What do you mean there was no wars? We were still in Iraq. We were still in Afghanistan. He fucking blew up Syria and shit. He killed a Iranian general, Qasem Soleimani. He fucking threw away the Iran denuclearization agreement. Like, he did a whole bunch of nonsense. He accelerated Obama's drone wars by like 400% when he was in office. He did all this stuff. It's just he says he's anti-war, and then people are like, oh, I guess he's anti-war. Like, no, he is also very much pro-war. There's no American president that was anti-war. That does not happen, okay? You get fucking killed if that's where your actual position is. And
but they kind of ran on that right now.
I know. It's called lying, Bradley. Politicians do it all the fucking time. And Trump does a very good job at lying. The Democrats are too fucking stupid to lie. Sometimes I'm like,
well, no, they lie all the time. They lie all the time.
No,
what do you mean?
No, they lie for dumb shit. They should lie for good shit, okay? They should lie and be like, I want to give you health care. They don't even fucking lie about that. Think about how fucking stupid that is. Republicans can say whatever the fuck they want and be like, I love doing peace. I love doing peace. I am the no war candidate. And then they come into power and they do war. And then people are like, but he said he's the no war candidate, so I believe him. Okay?
Yeah,
Democrats are too stupid. They don't even want to fucking say they're the no war candidate. They don't even want to say that. They're like, no, we love war, actually. That's what they're running on, which is so dumb because most Americans are like, well, okay, I don't like war.
But why? But then why do they lie about so much dumb shit about like random shit Trump said? They just lie. They make up. They just make shit up. Everything
Like
is
what?
someone else's fault.
Like what?
Like all the Project 2025 shit that he's disavowed multiple times. They
Oh
keep
my
talking about
God,
it.
Bradley. That's the fucking Heritage Foundation. Donald Trump is
Bro,
absolutely going to implement Project 2025. 100p. He already did it. See, look, if you watch my analysis on this, you'll see, I believe, a different perspective. I am not like Project 2025 was something that a lot of people paid attention to. They were like, oh my God, I can't believe that's happening. That's really devastating. And I told everybody at the time, I was like, that's Project 2024. That's Project 2026. That's Project 2023. That shit has been implemented, and it was implemented under the Trump administration, and it was implemented far before the Trump administration as well. It's just a continuation of the Republican strategy to increase the level of influence that they have over the federal regulatory agencies. This has been a long-standing project, just like overturning Roe v. Wade was. That shit was set in motion 45 years ago when the Federalist Society was created. Like, that's not new. These guys have been at this for years and years. They're ideologically committed to doing shit like this. So, you know, it sometimes it'll be 10 years when they can get that